Good Saturday morning, everybody. Hope you're having a good day so far. And we'll be in book of Proverbs again this morning, second chapter. And we will be looking at one verse. We'll be looking at verse 22, the final verse of this chapter that has been listing for some of the benefits of obtaining godly wisdom. And we have talked about that some earlier as we've come through these two chapters. There is a huge difference between earthly wisdom and godly wisdom. And so we're talking about godly wisdom here. And he concludes this chapter and this list of benefits with these words. But the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and the transgressors shall be rooted out of it. And so, after listing the benefits of wisdom, and I'm not going to go back over those. We've been looking at those the last few days. He concludes by giving us the alternative. The blessing of wisdom has been detailed very clearly, and he says, "But the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and transgressors shall be rooted out of it." And so, man has a choice. We have a decision to make of whether we will be obedient to God and seek godly wisdom, or whether we will choose to go down a path of wickedness and sin, and I guess you'd say the opposite of wisdom is foolishness, if that's the path we choose to take. And he says there is a consequence to that. We know that in life, all of our decisions, all of our choices have consequences. And the consequence here is to be cut off and to be rooted out. And so those two phrases are pretty clear that very, very bluntly, a man who chooses to reject the wisdom of God and go with the wisdom and the ideas of the world and the world system, he says they will be cut off. They will be rooted out. In other words, they will be cut off, rejected, rooted out of heaven, and find themselves eternally separated from God. And again, you can't be really much clearer and plainer than what the author has been in this chapter about the benefits of following God, of seeking His path, of seeking His wisdom, and now then the option. Wisdom gives us the ability, godly wisdom gives us the ability to go through the life and avoid the foolishness of this world, avoid the snares and traps of Satan. But the option is to choose the path of the wicked and the transgressor. And in this chapter, if you count them, and somebody might break them down differently, but in the broadest of sense, we have 8 benefits that we have talked about as we go through this chapter: a peaceful life, a secure life, all the way then to eternity in heaven. And again, the thing to remember of all this, again, is the key to it all is wisdom, and wisdom can only be found in Jesus Christ. That we find Him as the source of wisdom. And again, this chapter really couldn't be much clearer. and we have an option. Another thought of this is that as most everyone I think that follows has followed along in this study is an adult of various ages who have either children or grandchildren. We need to be sure that we are doing everything we can, just like the author of Proverbs, to point our children towards godly wisdom. One of the things that I hear many times from parents is, well, I don't want to force my kids to come to church. I don't want to turn them. I don't want to turn them against church. But yet we force our children every morning to get up out of the bed and go to school. We're not worried about turning them against school. We force them to put on clothes before they go to school. We're not worried about turning them against clothes. We force our children to go to the doctor. We're not worried about turning them against medicine. We force our kids to put on a seat belt. We're not worried about turning them against safety. And so the logic just eludes me in that conversation. Just as the father in the book of Proverbs is advising his child. Now, he's not forcing a decision on his child, but he is giving his child all the information he needs to make a good decision, to make a good choice, and teaching him the danger of rejecting God. And I think in many ways we're failing in that department in our culture today. We're leaving our children's spirituality up to chance. And in this world, considering all the things they're bombarded with, that's not a chance that I'm willing to take. We need to step up and be like the author of Proverbs and make sure our children understand the benefit of following God and the danger of rejecting Him. That the wicked will be cut off from the earth and transgressors will be rooted out of it. You think about that today. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here Monday morning.